Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of the Informal Program, a show that will likely end up with as many Pac-12 titles as Lincoln Riley at USC. Hey, we got to stop the USC jokes, please.
Live from a city in Southern California, this is the Informal Program, and now your host, Daniel West.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of the Informal Program. I am your host, Daniel West. First of all, we apologize for last week's broadcast. A rather unprofessional outing that featured a committee who merely threw together the words of the week as I was sitting there watching. It's a good thing we didn't put it out on social media anywhere. Like on YouTube, perhaps, at Informal Program on YouTube. That did not happen, thankfully. It would have been a wonderful, nay, horrible first impression. It is time once again to check the committee's words of the week. The word assessing committee gathered in a hotel, debated through the hours, debated straight into Tuesday, I might add. Debated so much that we had to move the show back. What? But now they have deliberated, and we will bring you the words of the week. Coming in at number 10, the 10th word of the week is the word Grinch. Now, we are in Christmas season, but this is not in reference to the green Grinch who terrorized Whoville. This is in reference to the USC Grinch who terrorized the Coliseum. But although we are not in the habit of celebrating people losing their jobs and do not wish ill on people, sure that this is a wonderful man, we are somewhat pleased to inform you that USC has fired defensive coordinator Alex Grinch.
Another one bites the dust.
You may ask, of course, looking at the script here, although I do ask, what, pray tell, may have been the reason why he lost his job? Well, giving up nearly 200 points over 4 games, that may do it to you.
What?
Wasting the talents of one Caleb Williams, making him cry in front of his mom, may have done it. In a city where Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani are playing, indeed, it turns out Caleb Williams is the talent most being wasted by a team. But the national nightmare is over, and the Oregon Ducks fans are actually disappointed because the USC defense may have a chance. So again, with congratulations to Bagman, with congratulations to the USC defense, with condolences to the Grinch family around the holiday season, it was time. Alex Grinch no longer the defensive coordinator at USC. That seems a little bit much, John. I mean, we're okay. All right. The number 9 word of the week is the word Stroud for CJ Stroud. Now, if you have not been paying attention, the Houston Texans may just have gotten the best quarterback in the NFL draft.
Whoa.
There were concerns.
Too far.
How's that too far? How was what? Okay. I'm not even going to argue. The consensus number 1 pick, of course, was Bryce Young. Maybe not consensus. Consensus might not be the right word, script writers, but he was the number 1 pick in the draft. We haven't done a Bryce Young update in a while because he's from Pasadena, a city in Southern California, near our city in Southern California, which may be our city in Southern California. We just don't know. But can we have a quick Bryce Young update?
Oh, no, that's not good.
All right. Glad I asked. But the word is Stroud, as in CJ Stroud, for CJ Stroud, who nearly threw for 500 yards. Yes, you heard that correctly. He nearly threw for 500 yards.
What?
470 to be exact. As the Houston Texans barely squeaked by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. If you watched CJ Stroud on College Game Day earlier in the year, you may have realized that this apparently appears to be a quite brilliant football mind. And the Houston Texans, with a rookie coach, a rookie play caller, and a rookie quarterback, are doing better than the Carolina Panthers, who feature Frank Reich and Bryce Young. So did they get the best quarterback in the draft? We will await to find out, but it appears the answer is yes. 470 yards, which is a rookie record. Also completed, I believe, more than 70% of his passes. Is that correct?
Yes.
I don't see it on my notes here, but I believe it was more than 70% of his passes. Anyway, a spectacular rookie outing from CJ Stroud, which is good enough for 9th on the word of the week. The number 8 word of the week is the word fired, but not in reference to Alex Grinch. No. This is in reference to the Las Vegas Raiders, who decided to just completely clean house. We have not seen something like this since Game of Thrones, to be honest with you. Head coach out.
Another one bites the dust.
Josh McDaniels, who was, quote, a shell of himself following a team meeting, ousted after they lost to the Lions. Now, in previous years, maybe a loss to the Lions would be enough to fire someone on the spot, but in this case, it was more, having to do with the Raiders' performance than did the fact that the Lions were beating them, because the Lions are actually good this year. So he's out. That's not all. The general manager also out.
Another one bites the dust.
But wait, Billy Mays, there's more. The offensive coordinator also out.
Another one bites the dust.
That's right. If you were a Raiders employee, you were roaming the halls wondering if your name was next. And for that matter, while we're on the topic, Jimmy Garoppolo, benched.
Another one bites the dust.
This seems like a good time to remind you that the Las Vegas Raiders, oh, there he is. I knew it was only a matter of time. How did we say Vegas this much without summoning the Vegas Golden Hat? I don't know how that happened. Anyway, there's a Vegas Golden Hat now. Seems like a good time to remind you that Mark Davis is a championship WNBA owner with the Las Vegas Aces. And perhaps that winning pedigree has now rubbed off, and he said, wait a minute, what am I doing with this football team? And thus he fired nearly everyone. And we move on. Maybe we'll all be fired as well.
You're listening to the Informal Program.
You're clear. I've heard better segment ones, but you know. I want you to read this letter right here. I don't want the mailbox to get involved because it's going to be, 5 hours from now. Read this letter.
All right, we'll read your letters here. I believe we're still on certain affiliates. Nick writes in and says, never have that first dude talk again, in reference to last week. Not a fan of John Beanie's performance. Also, you should drop a November awareness t-shirt. I'd wear it. We should get some merch.
Who would wear the merch?
Well, I mean, we could wear the merch for once. We could have our own show merch as opposed to just wearing, generic branded stuff. We could wear Informal Program stuff.
Oh, yeah. That would be nice.
Well, you are the producer, so maybe you should talk with our clothing distributors.
Yeah. Maybe. No promises. 5 seconds.
What do you mean no promises?
And now back to more on the Informal Program.
We continue with the countdown of the top 10 words of the week as chosen by the Word Assessing Committee in a hotel room locally here in the Los Angeles County area. The number 10 word of the week is the word Grinch. Alex Grinch fired by USC. Their defensive coordinator is finally out. It only took losing and giving up more than 50 points the week after winning, giving up 49 for them to finally pull the trigger there. The number 9 word of the week, C.J. Stroud, the greatest statistical yardage performance in the history of NFL by a rookie quarterback, 470 yards, and it come from behind win over the Buccaneers. And the word number 8 is the word fired, because the Las Vegas Raiders got rid of just about anyone on the offensive side of the football who was not a player, and even some players, as in Jimmy Garoppolo, have been benched. So the Raiders are cleaning house as Mark Davis continues to try to make the Las Vegas Raiders.
What a shame.
I think you hit the wrong one there, John.
Yes.
There we go. More like his, I think you hit it early as well, trying to make them more like his WNBA champion team.
Yes.
The number 7 word of the week is the word Hocevar. Now, you may be asking yourself, what is a Hocevar? Why is a Hocevar? How is a Hocevar? All great questions.
Yes.
Hocevar references Carson Hocevar, a NASCAR Truck Series driver who fouled up the finale in several ways. NASCAR had their championship weekend. We will get to that later on. Bagman will have some information during the break, and we'll discuss that as well later on, I believe. Or is this where we're discussing it? I don't know what...
Yes.
This is where we're discussing it.
Okay. Well, I'll talk about it here then. NASCAR had their championship weekend. 4 drivers entered. It's much like cars. The first driver to cross the line of the 4 championship contenders is the champion. Carson Hocevar was running in second of the championship contenders with 30 laps to go, which is still a very long time to go in the race. He is behind Corey Heim, who was the dominant driver all year and the true favorite for the championship. Carson Hocevar, that is, Hocevar, number 7 word of the week, decides, let me just, to quote Wreck-It Ralph, I'm going to wreck him. He went in too hard. I don't know if he did it on purpose or not.
To quote Phil Collins, he went in too deep.
All right, that's enough of Dave for the day. A Phil Collins joke. Who's... Okay. Sorry, let me gain my composure again. He went in and knocked Corey Heim out of the way.
What a shame.
Apparently, Carson Hocevar was so distraught about spitting out the championship leader that he was never the same driver and essentially sort of gave his own race away, moved to the back of the field, and let some other drivers settle it out. The issue was Corey Heim apparently was not satisfied with this behavior by Carson Hocevar. So as Corey Heim moved his way back through the field after getting spun out, he reached Carson Hocevar, and you can guess what happened. He wrecked Carson Hocevar.
I don't care who you are. That was just wrong.
Totally uncalled for. Totally.
So now, while the 2 remaining championship contenders, Ben Rhodes and Grant Enfinger, who was the championship leader, were fighting for the championship, the race resets because they have to bring the safety equipment out, the pace car out to clean up the mess because Carson Hocevar got wrecked by Corey Heim after he initially wrecked Corey Heim racing for the championship. Anyway, many laps later, Ben Rhodes is your NASCAR Truck Series champion.
We are winners! Winners! Winners!
Whatever city in Kentucky Ben Rhodes is from.
We know we're a winning city full of winners!
That's right. But the real story here is not Ben Rhodes winning the championship. It is Carson Hocevar spinning out the championship leader, Corey Heim, and creating a multiverse of madness, which resulted in the Ben Rhodes championship. The number 6 word of the week is in season for the in-season tournament. Wild courts, wild finishes, or were they? The NBA launched their in-season tournament this week, or last week, I should say, with mixed results. The Denver Nuggets did what the Denver Nuggets do, which is bludgeon an opponent. Meanwhile, Steph Curry and the Warriors did what they always do, which is beat the Thunder in a key game. Did we like the courts, the wild new courts? Was it too much? Did we like the format? Did it feel like a game with higher stakes, or was it merely just a regular NBA season game that happened to have a garish court? Time will soon tell, but the in-season tournament is here, and we're all happy. Maybe. The number 5 word of the week is the word bedlam. For the final time for the foreseeable future in college sports, unless they meet in the championship game by some miracle, Oklahoma and Oklahoma State played for the final time. This is a rivalry game dominated by Oklahoma, who was featured earlier in the word of the week with Dylan Gabriel, but they lost this. And Oklahoma State, for the foreseeable future, will be the last champions of Bedlam, one of the key rivalry games in the Big 12, which will no longer exist because Oklahoma is headed to the SEC, just like we're headed to a break. All right, today's show for the entire month of November is brought to you by the November Awareness Committee, as the unnamed shadow corporation cedes their time to the November Awareness Committee. The next 31 days, or fewer now that you're listening to this, are November Awareness Month. If you are not familiar with the month of November, look on your calendar. It's the one between October and December. Thanksgiving is in this month. That may be about it, but that still should be enough to keep your attention. Christmas is a major deal, but let's back up just a little bit and remember November. For more information on the November Awareness Committee, again, just look at your calendar and count the 31 days. 31? That's not right. That's not, what? 31, they're 30 days. How did this get approved? Anyway, that's unfortunate. Copy. Back to Not a Bagman.
And now, live from the newsroom in Los Angeles, it's the Bagman's Sports Report. Here's Bagman.
Alex Grinch is gone. We're free. Oh my goodness! I feel like Jar Jar Binks dancing on the top of that building at the end of Star Wars. We're so free. Do you realize they have a chance against Oregon now because they can stop people? All right. Oh, sorry. Ryan Blaney wins the NASCAR Cup Series championship. I'm sorry. I'm trying here. Cole Custer wins the Xfinity Series. Victor Wembanyama scored 38 on the Suns, but Alex Grinch is fired. That's all that matters. We made it. I shouldn't laugh, but it's so funny. Back to the show.
And now, we resume the informal program.
We're halfway home, halftime break in the books. It is the informal program. I am Daniel. Thank you for listening and watching. I don't believe we are being filmed this week as we were last week. Partially out of embarrassment, I'm being told the staff refuses to take part.
Yes.
Which seems odd since we're paying them to take part, but for another day. But you can find the show, YouTube, informal program. See what we look like in great animated form, semi-animated form. I think my set looks wonderful. We will recap at some point, but it is time to move forward because time is of the essence. Time is life. Time is money. Time is an old magazine. What? Why? What? Who's going to get a Time magazine joke? I don't know. Who's writing this show? We have 9 writers. I don't understand.
What is this, SNL over here?
The funniest joke is the one that's not on the script. That's funny. It also says a lot that Dave Rogers' like half-hearted SNL joke is the funniest thing that's been said on the show. So, anyway, we'll talk to the writers afterwards. They won't talk back, but you know, it's like a zoo situation. All right, enough with the jokes. The number 4 word of the week is the word stallions, as in Connor Stallions, as in will Michigan be banned from college football by the time you are listening to this?
Yes.
I don't even know where to begin with this story. I'm still a little bit confused as to what exactly is happening here with Connor Stallions. Was he on the sidelines at Western Michigan or Central Michigan or one of the Michigans? Was he on the sidelines?
Yes.
Incognito? Was he the possum that ran onto the field? Was the possum an agent of Michigan that ran on during the Texas Tech game?
Yes.
Did they steal signs?
Yes.
Okay. Are we sure they stole signs?
Yes.
When Greg Schiano made comments about something isn't right when Michigan was playing Rutgers, was he referencing the sign stealing?
Yes.
Did they contact the Houston Astros?
Yes.
Okay. Was Alex Cora involved?
Yes.
But Connor Stallions is the number 4 word of the week because after all of this chaos, after all of this, does Blake Corum have some sort of LLC and business with Stallions? Apparently. But after all of this madness, Connor Stallions has even been fired. We don't even know, but we know that Connor Stallions has indeed left the University of Michigan.
Another one bites the dust.
Now, if you're unfamiliar with the Connor Stallions story, that makes 2 of us. I'm just riffing right now. But no, in all seriousness, Connor Stallions is apparently some sort of agent of Michigan.
Yes.
Who apparently was running around the Big Ten and the sidelines of Central Michigan, gathering information, stealing signs to send back to Michigan to help Michigan. Now, the only reason this is a problem in college sports, and even to the degree what sort of problem it is to be debated, because if you listen to some coaches like Deion Sanders, he's like, this isn't baseball. If I know what the offense is going to do, we can still stop it or not stop it, whether or not we know. And then on the other end, you have Big 10. They haven't taken the Big 12 yet. You have Big 10 coaches essentially saying this is egregious, and if you do not do anything, Mr. New Commissioner, you are derelict in your duties and essentially a figurehead allowing Michigan to run wild. So we're not even sure. But what it boils down to is the issue is unlike in the NFL where they have helmets and receivers in the helmets that allow the coach to talk to the quarterback or the linebacker to get the plays in, they have to be done from the sidelines because there's no in-ear communication between the coaches and the players on the field. So because of that, we have these elaborate signs going back and forth. We have people dancing. We have people with shirts on. We have, I don't know, Taylor Swift's head next to a Coca-Cola bottle that signifies a run play. What? We don't know. That's the main problem. And apparently Michigan was stealing those signs with Connor Stallions. Connor Stallions has been in the news, and as we said, he's no longer with Michigan. But this is far from over. And will Michigan be punished? Do they deserve to be punished? We really have no idea, and I really don't want to discuss this anymore because I don't like discussing without facts, and that's pretty much all we're doing here. The number 3 word of the week is the word Josh Dobbs, or Dobbs for Josh Dobbs. I think that's how we do it.
Yes.
Josh Dobbs, as we mentioned last week, was traded from the Minnesota Vikings, or excuse me, from the Arizona Cardinals to the Minnesota Vikings. Josh Dobbs, the greatest Tennessee quarterback since Peyton Manning. I will argue with anyone, but that is the truth. Look up this. Look it up. Look up his impact. Anyway, Josh Dobbs goes to the Minnesota Vikings. Does not even understand most of the language, the offensive language, play calling wise. Does not know the names of all his teammates, but enters the game after an injury to the quarterback who has replaced Kirk Cousins, because Kirk Cousins is out for the season with a torn Achilles, much like Aaron Rodgers. And Josh Dobbs goes out there and leads the Minnesota Vikings to a win. And I'm telling y'all, you need to watch this Josh Dobbs character. The greatest Tennessee quarterback since Peyton Manning. He'll win you some games. And it's good to see Josh Dobbs performing well. The top 2 words of the week when we come back on the Informal Program.
You're listening to the Informal Program.
But B+ show today. You've done better. You've done worse, much worse actually. One more letter from Nick here. He wrote in further. Let's see if I can read it all. He attended the Washington-Stanford game and said Stanford should have easily won the game. They had the ball with 3 minutes left, down 2, and couldn't convert on 4th down. Washington gets a free touchdown at the end, but the real score should be 35-33. Is the Pac-12 good at football? Would Oregon beat a team like Alabama or Florida State in the playoffs? Your thoughts?
I think Oregon is the best team in the Pac-12. I think that's the case. But because it's the Pac-12, they don't even win the one game they needed to win to make them undefeated. And so now they're one loss away from being out because it's the Pac-12. But I think they're good, but I think the wrong team is leading the conference. How about that? Oh, baby. It's time to end with some funky on the Informal Program. Ooh. He turned into a ghost there. Welcome back. I am Daniel. This is the Informal Program. And we are wrapping up here. Quickly, very quickly, with haste, let us go through a recap of the words of the week up till now. Number 10 is the word Grinch for Alex Grinch, who has been relieved of his defensive coordinator duties that he did very loosely with USC. Number 9 is the word Stroud for CJ Stroud, the greatest yardage performance in NFL history by a rookie quarterback, 470 yards passing. Yes, you heard that correctly. Number 8 is the word fired because Mark Davis woke up and chose violence on November 1st, firing the head coach, Josh McDaniels, the general manager, whose name they did not put on the script, the offensive coordinator, who also didn't make it onto the script, and then the current head coach, Antonio Pierce, I believe that's his name. Is that correct?
Yes.
I'm hoping so. He announced that quarterback change. So Jimmy Garoppolo no longer there. So just cleaning house with the Raiders. Number 7 is the word Hocevar for Carson Hocevar, NASCAR truck driver, who really, if we're being honest, brought down the entire championship weekend in NASCAR with his actions that led to a truck race that basically played out much like if you've ever been in an online Mario Kart lobby. That's what it looked like, the end of the race. It was chaos. Number 6 for in-season. The in-season tournament kicked off for the NBA. Did we like it? Did we not? Well, it's up for you to decide. Number 5, the word Bedlam. The final as we see for the foreseeable future. Oklahoma State game took place in college football, won by Oklahoma State. Number 4 is the word stallions for Connor Stallions, this James Bond of college football agent who was on the sidelines, who has possums being sent onto the field in different conferences now to spy and get signed for Michigan. Crazy story. Number 3, Josh Dobbs. Dobbs, the words for Josh Dobbs, who is a quarterback of the Vikings, came in after being traded with pretty much no practice. Does not know his teammates' names, but he won the game against the Falcons. And now it's time for number 2. And that would be the word Craig, because out of nowhere, and I do mean out of nowhere, Craig Counsell, former manager of the Milwaukee Brewers, left. But that's not the shocking part. The shocking part is that he went to a division rival. The more shocking part is that he took the job of a man who was previously employed and there was no indication that he would be fired. He is now the manager of the Cubs, taking over for David Ross.
Talk about shocking.
It really is shocking. He also reset the market for managers, because managers were beginning to be seen as sort of interchangeable pieces and not like a head coach or a soccer manager or anything of note. And he sort of reset the market on managers making money, which was kind of the reason why he wanted to perhaps move on from the Brewers if they weren't going to pay him. But yes, in a truly shocking move. I think we should discuss that more at some point, but wild story. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there can only be one. Hit the imaging, John.
And now it's time for the informal program's Word of the Week.
Words. Week. Words. Week. Words. Week. Words.
Oh, yeah.
Words. Week. Words. Week.
And now, the word of the week. There can only be one word of the week, and of course, that word is the word road, as in undefeated on the road, as in, yes, that did happen within the last week. The Texas Rangers are the World Series champions.
We are winners! Winners! Winners!
The city of Arlington,
We know we're a winning city! Full of winners!
undefeated on the road. They did not lose a game on the road. And if you want a really wild stat, if you put together the teams they beat in order, the Rays, the Orioles, the Astros, and the Diamondbacks, it does spell out the word road. Today's show has been loosely produced by Dave Rogers, John Beanie, audio engineering. The news snail over here. You've been the listeners. I'm Daniel. Talk to you next week. Bye.
And now, the informal post show.
Wait a minute. R for Rangers. O for Orioles. A for Astros. Oh my goodness, you're right. What?
Oh, I got chills, man. That's creepy.
Whoa. Huh. Anyway, decent show, you know. I mean, you're not going to win any Marconis or anything, but you won't, you know, be a raspberry nominee either.
Do they have raspberries for radio?
Well, the way the show was going, yeah, they would have. They'd make categories for us. Alex Grinch, huh? Do you think they win on Saturday?
I'm going to say yes, only because the Pac-12. Only because of the Pac-12, because Oregon, you know, going to the playoff, that would be too easy. So, yeah, USC wins inexplicably.